We're here in London, Ontario at Armo, and I'm talking to Ben Whitney. Ben, thank you very much for allowing us to come in and chat with you today.
Thanks, Jim. My pleasure.
You're a vertically integrated automation house. What does that mean?
So what that means is a lot of the subcomponents that go into the work that we do, we build those in-house. And that's a real advantage, particularly during today's supply chain disruptions, so that we can control the delivery and the quality of the subcomponents that go into the automated solutions that we design and build. With a modern robotic solution, some of the flexibility that used to be challenging, where a box size is changing or a product size is changing or a product is organic in nature and a little bit varying in its size, those problems can be overcome now that used to be quite difficult.
And you're seeing from your food and beverage customers, you're seeing that, right? You're seeing the Costco's or the some of the big food producers that are demanding these different box sizes and such.
Yeah, different pack sizes, and sometimes the box that we would have thought of as a backroom box that gets torn apart for the boxes that go on the shelf, sometimes that box is now the box that the customer is seeing and purchasing.
How important is the automation being easy for food and bev industry?
Yeah, it is super important. One, they don't necessarily have like a very high controls team that can support like all of this programming and so on. And at the same time, the end user, there's unfortunately such a big turnaround on stuff that you need something that it's like plug and play, sort of like your phone kind of mentality, just go and use it.
And collaborative robots mean that you can work comfortably beside automation, is that correct?
That's right. A collaborative robot doesn't require guarding in between it and a human, so you can work in much closer proximity, which often works well in food and beverage plants where the floor plan is quite tight. And it's also a great way to get your operators comfortable with robots, that they're safe and they can work close to them. And so the machine that's behind us, it fits into an existing assembly line where a skid of boxes comes, and then right now humans are preparing those boxes to go into an existing machine that's packing those boxes. So this machine takes out that very boring job. It runs, 24/7 if it needs to, at a relatively slow speed, but fast enough to serve the machine that's behind it.
Tell us a little bit about the collaborative robot and the controls. This is something that you've had experience with now?
No, so this is one of my first projects, which makes collaborative really the way to go with the robot integration. It's super easy to integrate with the robot. The whole flow control programming makes everything really seamless for someone not a lot of experience. That's kind of where new industries are very beneficial in trying to get a collaborative robot in, because it gives you that kind of feeling of, here's a robot, kind of work around with the robot. This is kind of how everything kind of works together. There's a lot more safeguards in place with a collaborative robot as well, because everything is a lot more touchy on torque limits and safety limits as well as that. So it makes everything integrating a lot easier for a beginner person.
This machine needs to go in and be running over a weekend because they can't shut down their line, and it also needs the flexibility to be able to revert to manual should something go wrong where the boxes aren't behaving the way they're expected to, and we want to go back to manual for a shift or two.
As we were coming through your facility, we saw some autonomous robots.
Yes.
And can you tell us a little bit about how that may affect food and beverage too?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of interest from food and beverage customers for autonomous mobile robots. So it's like a robotic cart. It doesn't require a fixed path, so it can interact in a live space with forklifts and humans. And even with a cart that was left in the way, it can navigate around that. But we're really seeing them both in roles where you would have maybe used a forklift to move a heavy load, but also in roles where we're just supplying a little bit of product to sort of a Kanban station or smaller totes of delivering like popsicle sticks rather than a finished product.
And on our tour as well, you showed me two Scara robots with two flex feeders. So can you tell us what that's about?
Sure. Often people are getting a product in bulk and then they want to get it into singles, and maybe that product also needs some quality checks. So with that feeder, you can pour a whole bunch of something out onto a shaker. It shakes them so that it singulates the parts, and then we're using a camera to find them and a robot to pick and place them into whatever orientation we want. So it's a really great picking, sorting solution, and fits in a very small space. We've been seeing uptake from customers where we're retrofitting machines we built in the past with this new solution. And if you're running 2 shifts, it usually has a 1-year payback period.
Wow, 1 year is very fast.
Yeah, it makes it a no-brainer, especially when you're having trouble recruiting people in general. So the 1-year payback is almost like secondary to the fact that you couldn't get enough people to run your factory at all.
Ben, thank you very much.